Soul, I just wanted to tune in with what's been going on with me lately with the sovereignty work that I'm doing and how the impact work that I'm doing and how challenging that has been for me at the moment. So because we're dealing with police and things like that, and everything can be really quite out of your own control, obviously, but then also it really can be scary, you know, you're going to jail, like massive high, yeah, that was amazing, got off on all this stuff, like, yeah, that was so cool, meditated in my cell, like full empowerment, all the amazingness. And then the next day, like, went to the beach and actually had an accident because there was massive seas. I literally got swept away, got like cut all down my legs, my hands, my feet, like smashed into the rocks, like, and I was being super present at the time, like really going somewhere where I go every day. I was really cautious, watching the waves, and then just all of a sudden this like freak wave came out and like smacked me on the face and like smacked me against the rocks and all the stuff, you know. So like how you do anything is how you do everything, like super present and focused and like, you know, trying to navigate the situation, like wholeheartedly connected to the ocean, connected to the earth. But still, there's going to be fucking lessons there that smash you up against the rocks. And I was speaking to two of my mentors yesterday, and well, I've spoken to 3 mentors in this space lately. And, you know, 2 of the 3 have said, you know, I don't think this is worth this right now. Like, maybe just go back and do all the things like normally, like get in the system and do all the stuff, and then like do this at a later date when we know what's going on and we can support you better. And so for me, what comes up, and I don't know if this is going to be around for very long, but at the moment when somebody's like, when they're saying that, I totally get it, like to be safe and things like that. But then also it feels like if I was to do that, like a bit of my soul is dying, you know, because I really feel like the impact work that we're doing can make a massive change in the world. And yes, in the short-term interim, like you're gonna get hit up against the rocks, you're gonna like do certain things that like make you feel like you're not in your unicorn bliss state, which I love being in, you know, my meditations at the earth and like fully connected at the core and source light flowing through every cell of my body, and I'm like enlightened being, you know, not really, but that's how it feels like, right? And then being like, I'm fucking scared to drive my car. I'm fucking scared to do certain things because I can go to jail all the time. Like, there's like this beautiful polarity of what's real right now. And it is fucking real for me, right? And so, and especially like, you know, somebody that I was speaking to, one of my mentors, I hope this is okay, was speaking about, you know, like a hitman coming after him, all that sort of stuff. Like, this isn't like a joke, you know, like this is like full-on stuff. I mean, I'm not doing near what they are doing. I'm like right at the beginning, and they've been doing this for 20 years, you know. I've only known about this stuff for like 2 years, so maybe longer, but you know, like I'm like the fetus and they're like adults. So it's really interesting because so much has come up for me around this, like, and I'm sharing, you know, makeup free, all of the stuff, like hair not done, all of those things, like, but this is a stretch for me because like I have been feeling out of alignment with this. Like I have been feeling like, Blythe, I don't know if this is nurturing your soul because, you know, this is fucking scary and this is big stuff, but then it's also like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go back to doing it the other way, because if we're going to make a difference, it's up to us to stand up, and it is going to be fucking uncomfortable, and it's not going to be unicorns and rainbows the whole time. We're talking up, like coming up against a system that has like kept everybody comfortable and making things easy. Like they make it so easy and make it so comfortable for us that we don't want to like, oh, you know, it's a little bit challenging, don't want to do that because everything's so like easy, you know. And this is everything in our world. Like, is it like whatever's going to be the cheapest, fastest, quickest way there? That's where our minds have been trained to go, well, no, that's the best way because it's the cheapest, fastest, quickest. Which literally, when you make choices like that, you are supporting fucking someone's life and fucking the environment. Straight up. Probably with the choices that you make with like going shopping and like what's the, like in the supermarket, oh, what's the cheapest, easiest, quickest way to do something? You're probably fucking your health, you're fucking the earth in some way, and you're buying shit made out of one-use plastic, you know what I mean? Something that is like fucking the earth. And you're supporting a company that probably mines and pays for child slavery and possibly does like animal testing and all of those things. So like choose wisely, you know? And so that's why this is obviously really important to me, and I don't want to come back sound like dogmatic, but this is where I'm at a point in my life and going, okay, well, I have got the opportunity to make a difference and to do it differently, to navigate differently. And, you know, it takes a few people. Like I've got my mentors and they inspire me, each one of them in different ways. So how can I then like show up authentically, sometimes scared as fuck to do the most normal thing, but going, okay, this is serving a greater good. This is serving a purpose, you know? And I've had like a few of my mentors going, okay, well, how are you helping the custodians of this land? How are you helping this? How are you doing that? Because it's not worth it at that time. And that's their belief. And then I go away and I think about it and I'm like, fuck that. Like we're freeing people. We are giving people options. We are giving people something to think about, going, yeah, there is another way. This isn't the only way, and cheaper, faster isn't always the best way, you know? Like if it's the same thing or from the same company and it's cheaper and faster and blah, 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 then that's possibly great. But if it's raping the earth, raping children, like supporting pedophilia rings and things like that, then it's not fucking okay, you know? And the more of us that like choose with our time, choose with our dollars of what we are supporting, then this stuff just shatters because it's not being supported anymore. So I highly urge you to go, okay, where is it? And it might not be I guarantee it won't be the biggest thing, but the smallest things, like if everybody stopped supporting a company that was like, rather than going vegan, people are like, I don't want to go vegan. Great. Okay. Well, that's awesome. Support companies that don't do animal testing then. You know, maybe with the makeup that you choose or the hair care products that you buy, don't support companies that support animal testing. Or maybe it's with a bank that you choose. Like, how do they invest your money? Are they supporting companies that are raping the earth? Because a lot of them do. So choosing with the banking system, going, no, what? I'm not going to do my business banking with this bank anymore. I'm going to change it to a bank that supports this, that, and the other. I know in Australia it'd be Bendigo Bank, you know? So you want to be supporting things and companies that align. And whether if you're not doing like full impact work, that is the biggest impact you can make. Like if all of us knew about all the purchases that we were purchasing, like that is the biggest support of freedom and impact on this earth that you can possibly make. It is a game changer. And never think that you supporting your environment doesn't make a difference. It fucking makes a difference. Even from the tins of tomatoes that you buy in the supermarket aisle, it makes a fucking difference. Okay, so not only with what you're putting into your body and like making sure that you're making great choices for your vessel, like choosing certified organic that doesn't have all the chemicals and artificial flavors and all the salt and the sugar and like whatever fructose and all the bad shit, corn syrup that keeps you super fucked up and super high, to choosing things that are cleaner, but then also seeing how that company, what that company is about. Like, is it a generic brand that like is just the cheapest one in the supermarket and it legit is supporting like some of the worst fucking shit in the world, you know? Like, what are they using on their crops? What is it that is really being used on your food, and how is that affecting you and your children, and then also the environment in the future? And I know this is like deep, a lot of stuff. Oh my gosh, I don't have time to like go through every single thing that I'm looking at the supermarket and make these decisions. It's like, yeah, but you make the decisions based on money or cost, then it always comes at a cost. So now is the time to make those decisions. If you want to have an impact on this earth, an impact on your kids, your grandkids, the great-grandkids, making sure that there is an earth for these kids to have a playground, then these are the decisions that you can make that will really make a massive impact in the world and with everything, you know. I'm not like saying that I am like fully aligned in every single area. I miss stuff fucking constantly. Yes, occasionally I'll walk over rubbish. I won't pick up everything in my path. My pockets are full, you know, like that sort of stuff. But if we all do a fucking little bit, it makes catastrophic changes. I mean, not catastrophic, that's like the wrong word, but like catastrophic to the industries that are fucking up the world. But to us, it creates future, right? So I'm going to keep on doing my sovereignty stuff, like even though it is scary a lot of the time, and it does put me into a state of fear with some things, but that's my stretch at the moment. That's how I can create an impact. You know, this is the next stage for me. I've been living an organic life since like 15 years. You know, I've been mostly vegan for, I don't know, 13 years, 15 years, something like that. So been not supporting animals that do like cruelty to animals and all of those things, and like been involved in philanthropic projects around the world. So this is the next stage for me, where we can create impact in the legislation that keeps us trapped, and create awareness around the legislation that is unlawful, or where people aren't abiding by the laws but are keeping us trapped, you know, because that's not okay, but we accept it. Whereas as a country, as a human race, if we're like all aware of what's going on, then we can step up together and being like, you know what, no, this isn't okay. We're going to create a bit of a change for the next generations to come. And after like even speaking to the police that like arrest me and stuff like that, it's like, they're like, why are you doing this? And the first thing that came out of myself and my mouth, and it's honest to fucking God truth, is I'm doing this for your kids so that they're not trapped. You know, I'm doing this for your kids so that they're free. And the guy was like, meh. And, you know, like I told him a little bit about the legislation and blah, blah, blah. And like, you just see the clogs start ticking in their mind. And even with a great friend I was speaking with last night, he was like, you know, in our area, they've put out a lot more police in our area because just conversations that he's having with the police is triggering them to think about what it is that they're doing, and it's making them go on stress leave from work, not because they're actually stressed, but because they're considering their role in that job, you know, which is huge and excellent and amazing, because then if the people that are supposed to fine us and take our money because they're literally just collecting revenue, they're revenue raisers for the government, or actually for each state in our country, like they're just revenue raisers for our state, then they have to look at the legislation and go, okay, wow, these people have figured out the loophole. All the cops, like, that are supposed to be like the ones that are our accountants, our tax collectors, really, if they're not willing to do these things that are actually a bit illegal, then we need to step the fuck up and change the game. And that's legit what it's all about, like changing the game. We're not there to cause stress on anybody. We're not there to break systems down, to come up fighting against anything like that. It's not about that. It's just about the truth, you know. The truth will set us all free. Just knowing the truth and being honest and transparent with that is what will help set us all free. So I just wanted to share this super authentically, super in my, like, me feeling like my shittest, so that just so that you know that it's not all like unicorns and rainbows and unicorns pooping rainbows, you know. So there can be that other little, you know, polarity in there, and that's what activism is all about. It's not all glamorous. It's not all, like, that's what we're fighting. I mean, we're not fighting. That's what we're peacefully protesting, so that there can be a bit of a change in the world, so that we can stop or make awareness around, or just have shifts and pivots, so that things that aren't done with equality and with human rights and their war crimes and those sort of things, really they are war crimes, a lot of the things that are being committed, but we just accept it because we don't know. And as soon as we accept it, then they can continue on doing that. So as long as we all know that, okay, what you're actually doing right now, you know that that's a war crime, and this isn't actually okay with me anymore. And no, I'm not going to give you the information that you're requesting because you're the one that's doing something illegal here. I'm really sorry, but that's just how it is. You know, so if more of us just step up and just know a little bit about those things, so it's never about being aggressive or an asshole or anything like that. It's just about, did you know that like what you're actually doing is like illegal, and according to this legislation, what you're doing is actually illegal. Like, that's legit how it is. And yeah, I might be seen as an asshole, and yeah, I might go to jail, but it might take, like, if all of us sort of start to step up, and then there's like everybody going to jail one day, or like there's just not enough jails, then they literally go, okay, like something needs to change here. And we're not going to go to jail long term. It's only just like going to jail for little things, because they can only hold you for like 4 hours or something like that. And if they find out your details before that, it's even less time than that. So it's about stepping up into that. So I just wanted to share that because that's where I'm at the moment, and it's been keeping me really trapped and stuck within myself and like scared and fearful. And I wanted to really share that so that hopefully we can, in me sharing, I can unlock this prison that I've like put myself in, and hopefully that will inspire you to maybe share your authentic truth, whether it be, you know, on social media, or your partner, or with your family, or with your loved ones, or with your puppy, whatever the fuck is going on, or with your journal, whatever the fuck is going on for you, that you just become a little bit more transparent and honest so that you can step back into your alignment and just own it, because that's what conscious leadership is all about for 2020. We are coming into this time where it's about owning what's true, and not needing to be in alignment to share, but sharing becomes the alignment, because then we actually get to speak authentically with our truth, and it allows other people to speak with truth without all the hair, makeup, all those things. If you're a woman, just being really true and authentic. And for the men as well, who are used to seeing women like with all the lashes and the hair and the makeup and the lips and the Botox and all the stuff where their face doesn't move, it empowers men to go, wow, that's right, we live in a world where women think they need to be a certain way in order to be that, you know, while they're putting like botulism in their face and those sort of things. Whereas we can all start to upgrade together and choose differently, make smarter choices that are going to be fully in alignment of our vessel, not necessarily in alignment of our mind and what we want reality, what we want people watching us to perceive us in a certain way. Like, let's be authentic, let's step into our divine truth and honor that, who we are, so that we can be the best expression of ourselves. We can be fully empowered rather than shutting down and keeping ourselves trapped, and really allowing ourselves to be free and just owning what's really going on. So I just wanted to really share that so that I can untrap myself, and then hopefully allow you to maybe look into legislation a little bit more so, or maybe it's empowering yourself in a certain way, or maybe it's getting a little bit more inspiration to get through, not to get through, but to empower, not to get through life. We don't want to get through life. You don't want to be like 70 and going, oh wow, I got through that. It's like, no, we want you to fucking enjoy it, you know? And this is another thing that comes back for me. It's like, okay, well, am I really enjoying that? It's like, yeah, but if you like enjoying how I'm feeling right now, I have felt unicorns and rainbows for a whole lot of time. This is the next stretch for me, because I know that a year of possibly doing this, like from now, a year from now, the impact that we could possibly create would be astronomical, you know? And that's what it's all about. It's about changing everything, changing the paradigms of this reality so that we can change it. It's a game changer for us as well. I want to see this world before I die. I want to see this. I want to see the change that we can create. And it's not about me. If somebody else does it, fuck, sweet, great. Let me just poop unicorns and rainbows all day, you know? But if I have to be part of that change, then I choose that. I fucking choose that. I embody that. And some days it's going to be scary as hell, and the littlest things can keep you trapped, but expressing and just sharing authentically and truth, then it's that which frees us. So that's just a little bit about where I'm at with my sovereignty journey at the moment. And I hope that if you don't know anything about sovereignty, then ask me any questions, what it means to be a sovereign being, and and there's a lot of stuff, like everybody out there is like learning at the moment, you know, we don't know 100% what the next way will be, but I have a lot of people asking me questions about like their form of sovereignty, you know, like, oh, I'm telling myself from this moment forward, anything that I have to do is like, it's because I'm like part of this world and blah, blah, blah. And like, I'm not owning anything and rah, rah. It's like, and I don't mean, I'm not owning anything that I have to do, anything that I do, like I'm not responsible for it. It's like, no, we're fucking sovereign. We are completely responsible for who we are and what we are doing. We step into truth. We don't come fighting up against anything, because that is not a way. That's what's been done in the past, and that's why people die and shit. We're not fighting anything. We are there just as peaceful awareness, like just raising awareness peacefully. It's like, okay, cool, I can see what you're doing, and I understand with compassion that you're doing the best that you think that you're there to protect and serve us, and I totally get that. But on the other side of that is their awareness and their awakening. So just share what you know with them without fighting, without anything like that. It's just sharing, you know, we're just sharing who we are. We were all born as crown. We are all crown. That's who we are. We've just gotten into a system because we didn't know anything greater. Our parents didn't know. They just registered us to an entity so that we could be part of that entity. And I think I might leave it there, because that's a lot to deal with today. So, and every country's different. I don't know the laws in every country. I only know the laws to do with here and with New Zealand, and I only know like a drop in the ocean. So I am just learning, and it's a bit more interesting for me than watching the Kardashians, I'll be honest with you. So I hope that, you know, when you maybe just watching something out of sheer boredom, maybe watch something that's going to educate you, and then you can share potentially later with somebody else that might save their life. Because everything in our life is a choice. It's all a fucking choice. So choose wisely, choose what inspires you as well. Because like a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, why are you even doing this, blah, 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 blah. Actually, not a lot. Like most people are like, probably out of 1,000 people, maybe 2 people haven't been supportive. The other 998 people have been really supportive, and it's allowed them to have more free expression within this area and feel more empowered. So, you know, the old paradigm was we were all attacking each other, and I was speaking to like my mentor last night about this. It's like, you know, you're going to lose heaps of friends. I'm like, actually, you'd be surprised how supportive people are. He was like, really? I'm like, yeah, like everybody's really supportive. I mean, I do have like a lot of conscious people around me, but even people that I grew up with, and no, not you, girl, another person, people that I grew up with, and we were taking drugs and partying and all the stuff, like they're coming into their awakening as well. And this is what I find as well, because what I'd find with like a lot of my clients is I would speak to clients one-on-one. So a lot of people are into this stuff, and this is before I was into it, like fully into the sovereignty, but like a lot of people that are into all of this stuff, but in a group, people won't talk about these things because they're scared to be victimized and vilified, whatever that word is. They're scared to be like the only person in the group that doesn't agree with something, or they're going to be that person that's like weird or anything like that. So in groups, people do not talk about this, but one-on-one, people talk about this in all, because I've got a huge demographic of clients, so people talk about this in all walks of life, one-on-one. But yeah, in the group, they might not talk about it. So this is becoming a platform for people to really start owning their truth and talking about more real things, and having those deeper conversations. And the more conversations that we have about things that we're learning about or things that are inspiring us, it really allows us to set ourselves free, but then also set the tribe and the community free as well, because it creates a ripple around that world. So rather than a ripple around our whole world, so rather than talking about a reality TV show and just putting like no consciousness out there, we're just talking shit. If we can raise the bar and increase our frequency and have these amazing conversations, then it really does shift the paradigm, and that's the resonance that goes across the world. That's what ripples through. So that's what we really want to be rippling through, as much conscious creation as possible. So whatever it is that inspires you, that maybe you see as like victim shit that's going on, that's like not okay, equality, or stuff that really inspires you and makes you happy and you just want to dance and sing, then that's the stuff to... Bottles falling on crystals, of course. That's the stuff that you really want to be sharing. Like, and remember, it's not about a fight. We're not fighting here, because having that aggression go out in the world, that's what resonates. So if you are a freedom fighter, which I now call myself a freedom activist, because I don't want to fight, then choose what you're putting out there, and really, like, even if it's something that really is passionate to you. Like, I know people like sometimes post on my page and I like take off the tags, because I don't want to be associated with things that are fighting. You know, I don't want to be associated with things that are fighting. Figure out your own voice in that, which really allows freedom to come from that. But as soon as you're ranting and, like, you know, aggression, just imagine like angry vegans. Who the fuck do they help? Like, who the fuck do they help? I mean, like, even I, like, being vegan, like, mostly vegan, I'm not fully vegan, but, like, people coming up to me and being like, oh, you know, you need to come to this rally and rah, rah, rah. I'm like, no, because you're putting aggression resonance out there, and I do not align with that. Like, let's go out there to a love festival or something like that and put out love and blah, 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 and talk about, like, amazing stuff in a positive, uplifting way, but supporting more negativity, you've got to, like, look through that, you know, like, even the climate change stuff that's out there at the moment, like, where does it come from? Who's up the top of that chain? Because people are like, are you going to that climate change summit, Blythe? It's really important that you be there. It's like, look up that chain, look up that fucking chain and see who's, like, running it, because I do not support anything that isn't really of the cause, you know, like, if they're going to use a little girl, you know, I don't support anything like that. So really look into what it is that you're supporting, rather than what it is at face value. Like, oh yes, I need to be supporting that because my morals and values align with, I am, you know, with, like, up against the fight, because that's what they want. They want us to stay in the fight, but it's not about staying in the fight. It's about coming into the surrendering into the freedom of the sovereignty, because we are sovereign beings of this earth. We own the earth, right? I mean, sorry, we are the earth. We don't own the earth, but they don't own the earth. So as soon as we get into our minds that we are of the earth, that we are not the piece of paper, we are not the little license, we are not any of this stuff, then we can all be free together, and then we can let the party really begin, you know? So there's a whole lot of ranting, but I hope that maybe opens up, inspires something within you, and feel free to ask me any questions. I'll get some other people that are willing to talk about this stuff, because a lot of people don't want to be out there with this stuff, which is absolutely perfect, and honor and respect them, because, like, it does make me, you know, like, you're doing the right thing. This is probably not smart, because a lot of my mentors have said not to, but then some of my, you know, like, activism friends that aren't in this specific space are like, no, there's obviously not enough people doing this stuff, so, you know, just share the work. So I'm asking myself to, like, stretch and to share this work, so that's why I'm doing it. And whatever your work is, whatever lights your fire, whatever inspires you, then I ask you to share your work and share your gifts and come behind the layers of the bullshit, just to go deep within your heart. And I ask you right now, how is your heart? How is your heart feeling? These are the conversations that, like, inspire me and that I want to have with people. Like, how is your heart right now? What's going on for you? I fucking love you, and I'm here for you. So let me see you, let me hear you, and let's have real conversations that fucking matter. You know, I don't want to talk about your TV programs. I don't want to talk about, like, your bullshit. I want to talk about you and who the fuck you are, and how we can together support each other better and have great relationships that resonate positivity and resonate growth. Because it's not always about being perfect. Like, it's not about being positive all the time. It's just about being authentically true. And that's what I'm trying to express with you today. Like, I'm not in my best state. You know, I've, like, been, like, a bit fearful, and, you know, like, I've my whole life had, you know, like, eating stuff and all that sort of stuff, like, issues with that. So I've, like, put on a few extra kilos, because all this stuff is, like, you know, it's like navigating through this and having people stay with me, and that I love to bits, and just going against all my morals and values. and doing things that aren't fully aligned, but they are fully aligned, because to be there and to experience life on a whole nother level, like if you were dying in a year's time, would you create as much impact as you could and enjoy life as much as possible? Or like, you know, these are the sort of things, because it's different for everybody. So I'm navigating through that sort of space now, and I hope that you can really navigate through that sort of space and go, okay, where is my heart right now? How can I share that? What do I want to see change in the world? And generally, if there's something that you want to see change in the world that you don't think can change, is bullshit. There is a way that it can be changed in the world. You just haven't found the tribe of people around that can legit support you. So find your tribes of people, ask questions. Like, I love going, I'm like the most diverse person, like from, you know, cryptocurrencies, creating your own ICO, to like sovereignty and all of that sort of stuff, to being an earth worker, to like spiritual manifestation, to going to like Celtic witch circles, like medicine journeys, all of the things, you know. So there is always people, there is always tribes, and you don't need to be in one thing. You can be the multidimensional being that you are meant to be, and know about all the different things. And it's not about mastering everything. Like I say that scratching my head going, I love to master everything, but like my brain just doesn't work that way. Like I'll learn a whole lot of things throughout my life, and yes, there is things that I've mastered, you know, like the health thing, my business thing, life balance. Like those are the things that I have absolute mastered, and I'm still navigating my way. Like, yes, I've spent like probably over 10,000 hours doing like a whole lot of the other things that I'm interested in, but I would never consider myself a master in that, because there's always more to learn.